back, everyone. Ready to take another deep dive with us?
Always.
Awesome. Today we're going way back, exploring the fascinating history of video games.
Yeah. From those early pixelated beginnings all the way to the immersive experiences we have now.
It's quite a journey. And it's amazing to see how gaming went from something pretty niche to, well, a global phenomenon.
Absolutely. It's become a massive part of our culture.
For sure. So, where do we even begin with a story this big?
Well, I think we got to start with those pioneers, right? Back in the 50s and 60s when computers were these gigantic machines.
Taking up entire rooms.
Exactly. But even then, people were already trying to make them more interactive, trying to, create experiences.
It's mind-blowing when you think about it. Like, imagine trying to explain Fortnite to someone playing tennis for two on an oscilloscope.
Yeah, those early video games were a far cry from what we have today.
So true.
Yeah.
But they were important, those first steps.
Absolutely. Tennis for Two, for example, created back in 1958. 2 players, simple controls, just dots moving on a screen. But you know what? It captured the essence of what video games are all about.
Interaction.
Yeah, entities interacting in a digital space.
And then came Pong.
Pong, 1972.
The game that truly launched the industry, right?
For sure. It was simple, addictive, just black and white, 2 paddles, a ball. But people went crazy for it.
It just proves that you don't need fancy graphics to create a fun, engaging game.
Right. It's about the core gameplay, that back and forth, the competition. Pong just nailed it. And it was so easy to pick up and play. Anyone could understand it. That was huge.
Definitely. I bet even our grandparents were playing Pong back then.
Probably. But, things were just getting started. Pong may have been the spark, but the arcade, well, that's where the fire really started.
Yeah, arcades. The flashing lights, the sounds, those rows and rows of cabinets. Each one a new world waiting to be discovered.
Space Invaders, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong.
Those were more than just games.
They were social hubs, places where you'd meet friends, hang out, compete.
That community aspect, it was so central to the arcade experience. It wasn't just about playing the games, it was about sharing that experience with others.
Totally. And that feeling of accomplishment when you finally beat a game or got a new high score, it was something special.
So true. Though, as much fun as arcades were, there were limitations. You had to actually go to them, for one thing.
And you needed quarters, lots of quarters.
Right. So, the next logical step, bringing that gaming magic home.
Enter the home consoles.
And early pioneers like the Magnavox Odyssey. But let's be real, it was the Atari 2600 that really shook things up.
Oh yeah, 1977, the Atari 2600. That cartridge-based system was a game changer, literally.
Suddenly, you could have a whole library of games right there in your living room.
Space Invaders, Pac-Man, Pitfall, Combat, so many classics, it was a whole new world of possibilities.
The golden age of home consoles was about to begin.
And then in 1985, Nintendo came along.
And changed everything.
The NES, with games like Super Mario Bros., it redefined what a home console could be.
Super Mario Bros. It was revolutionary. The platforming, the colorful world, the music, the characters, it set a new standard.
Nintendo really understood what made games great, and they had that strict quality control. They wanted to make sure that every game released for the NES was, well, top-notch.
Which was huge for building trust with players.
Absolutely. But, even as we were jumping on Goombas and saving Princess Peach, something else was brewing.
Something big.
3D gaming was on the horizon. 3D gaming, it really was a whole different ballgame.
It was a huge leap, right? Not just graphically, but in terms of, well, everything.
Yeah, storytelling, the way worlds were built, how we interacted with games, it changed everything.
It's like going from watching a movie to stepping inside of it.
Exactly. And Sony, with the PlayStation, well, they really embraced that.
The PlayStation, that was 1994, right?
Yep, and CD-ROMs. That meant games could hold way more data. So we got richer graphics, bigger soundtracks, more complex stories.
It was a whole new level of immersion.
Totally. Final Fantasy VII, Tomb Raider, Metal Gear Solid. These weren't just games anymore. They were experiences.
Cinematic experiences. I remember playing Final Fantasy VII for the first time. That opening sequence with Midgar, it just blew me away.
Oh yeah, it was groundbreaking. And while Sony was doing its thing with the PlayStation, Nintendo was also pushing boundaries.
The Nintendo 64,
Uh-huh.
another classic.
1996, that controller with its unique design, it took some getting used to, but it opened up some really interesting gameplay possibilities. And then the games, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Super Mario 64, they showed the world what 3D platforming and adventure games could be.
Ocarina of Time. That game is still considered one of the greatest of all time.
For good reason. The way it combined exploration, combat, puzzles, and that epic story, it was like nothing we'd seen before.
And the world, Hyrule, it felt so vast and alive.
Absolutely. Those early 3D games, they really set the stage for the open world games we love today. But you know what else was happening around this time? Something that would, well, completely transform gaming yet again.
I think I know where you're going with this. The internet.
Exactly, the internet. It wasn't just about connecting computers, it was about connecting people. And for gamers, well, it was a dream come true.
Suddenly we could play with anyone, anywhere.
Quake, Unreal Tournament, those were some of the early pioneers of online multiplayer. Those games let us experience competition in a whole new way. And then, well, thinking World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft, or WoW as everyone calls it. That was more than just a game.
It was a persistent world. Millions of players, all interacting, forming communities, going on adventures together.
It was groundbreaking, and it really showed the power of online gaming to bring people together.
It was a social phenomenon. And, even before that, we had LAN parties. Remember those?
Oh, yeah. Hauling your giant PC over to a friend's house, all those cables, the late nights, the pizza. Good times.
Yeah, good times. And then consoles started getting in on the online action, too.
The Xbox with Halo, that was huge for console online multiplayer. And of course, Call of Duty, another game that brought people together, even if it was to virtually shoot each other.
Right. And all this online competition, it led to something pretty incredible.
eSports. Who would have thought that playing video games could become a professional sport?
I know. Huge tournaments, millions of fans watching online. It's amazing. And it just goes to show how far gaming has come.
And it's not just about the competition. Esports has brought so much attention to gaming as a whole. It's become mainstream entertainment.
And none of this would be possible without the incredible advancements in technology.
Graphics getting better, processors faster, game developers pushing the limits of what's possible. It's been amazing to witness. We've seen how gaming began, from those simple beginnings with Pong to the rise of home consoles and the explosion of online gaming.
It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It really has. But we're not done yet. We got to talk about the future. Where's all of this headed?
The future of gaming? Well, it's exciting, that's for sure.
It feels like we're on the cusp of something truly revolutionary.
We are. We're talking about tech that blurs the line between reality and the virtual world, experiences that are more immersive and personalized than ever before.
I think VR and AR are really going to change the game, literally.
Oh, absolutely. Virtual reality especially.
Stepping into those virtual worlds, it's like nothing else.
The level of immersion we can achieve now, it's incredible, and it's only going to get better.
Imagine VR with haptic feedback, so advanced you can actually feel the weight of objects, the textures, the environment around you.
And the visuals, so real you can practically reach out and touch them.
We're already seeing glimpses of that potential in games like Half-Life, Alex and Resident Evil 7 in VR.
Those games take immersion to a whole new level. It makes you wonder, how will these technologies change how we play, how we tell stories, how we connect with each other?
And then there's augmented reality.
AR, blending the digital and physical, that's got huge potential too.
Pokemon Go, it was just a taste of what's possible.
Imagine AR games that transform your city into a giant game board, or educational experiences that bring history to life right before your eyes.
It's mind-blowing. And we can't forget about artificial intelligence, AI.
AI is going to play a huge role in shaping the future of gaming. Imagine NPCs that can learn and adapt to your playstyle, creating a truly unique experience for each player.
Games that respond to your emotions, your choices, even your skill level. It's going to revolutionize game design.
It really is. And, with all these advancements, gaming is becoming even more social. We're already seeing these virtual worlds where people can hang out, create, explore together. Imagine attending virtual concerts with friends from all over the world, or collaborating on projects in these shared online spaces.
It's incredible to think how far we've come from those solitary arcade experiences to this interconnected world of gaming. It's more than just entertainment now. It's a way to connect, to create, to learn, to explore.
Absolutely. It's a reflection of who we are and what we aspire to be.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into video game history, well, what's the takeaway?
The takeaway is this: the journey's just beginning.
Gaming is constantly evolving, pushing boundaries.
So keep playing, keep exploring, and get ready for the next level.
Because it's going to be amazing.
Game on!